Welcome back to Rootshaven Grounds, fellow gardeners. If you've ever stood in your garden, scooped up a handful of soil, and wondered why it still feels lifeless despite all your hard work, this article is for you. Today I'm sharing one simple mulch trick that can dramatically increase soil life, often doubling it within a single season. What's surprising isn't that it works, but that it's rarely talked about, even by so-called garden experts. This isn't a gimmick, it's not a product you need to buy, and it's not complicated. In fact, it's rooted in how healthy ecosystems have functioned for thousands of years, long before fertilizers, tillers, or garden influencers existed. Let's dig in. Most gardeners are taught to focus on plants. We obsess over leaves, flowers, yields, and pests, but the truth is, plants are only the surface story. The real magic happens underground. Healthy soil is alive with bacteria, fungi, protozoa, nematodes, earthworms, arthropods, and countless microorganisms we can't even see. These organisms break down organic matter, unlock nutrients, build soil structure, retain moisture, and protect plants from disease. When soil life thrives, plants thrive naturally, with less effort from us. The problem is that modern gardening practices, bare soil, frequent tilling, synthetic inputs, and even neat-looking gardens, actively destroy this underground ecosystem. And this is where mulch comes in. Most gardeners already mulch. We're told to mulch to retain moisture, suppress weeds, and regulate soil temperature. So we spread straw, wood chips, grass clippings, or leaves and feel like we've checked the box. But here's the part that's rarely explained. Not all mulching feeds soil life equally. Traditional mulch applied in a single, uniform layer often benefits only a narrow range of organisms. It protects the soil, yes, but it doesn't stimulate explosive biological activity. In many cases, it creates a static environment rather than a dynamic one. The trick I'm about to share changes that completely. The secret is layered, mixed-source living edge mulch. Instead of applying one type of mulch all at once, you apply multiple organic materials in thin, alternating layers, mimicking how organic matter naturally accumulates in forests and wild ecosystems. And crucially, you keep the soil edge biologically active rather than sealed off. This method creates diversity, and diversity is what soil life responds to most powerfully. Different organisms feed on different materials. Bacteria prefer softer, nitrogen-rich inputs like green plant matter and kitchen scraps. Fungi thrive on woody, carbon-rich materials like leaves, bark, and wood chips. When you combine these materials instead of isolating them, you create a buffet that supports many forms of life at the same time. The result is a surge in microbial activity that transforms your soil far faster than single-material mulch ever could. How to apply this mulch method the right way? Start with bare or lightly weeded soil. You don't need to till, disturbance actually slows this process down. First, apply a thin layer of green material. This can be fresh grass clippings, green weeds without seeds, or chopped cover crops. This layer kickstarts bacterial activity. On top of that, add a layer of brown material. Dry leaves, straw, shredded cardboard, or wood chips work beautifully. This feeds fungi and balances the nitrogen from the green layer. Then repeat the process once or twice, keeping each layer thin rather than piling everything on at once. The goal isn't thickness, it's diversity and contact. Finish with a light top layer that protects the lower layers from drying out, but don't compact it. Air is essential. Soil life needs oxygen just as much as moisture. Within days, microbial activity begins accelerating. Within weeks, earthworms follow. Within months, the soil structure visibly improves. Here's the detail most experts never mention. Don't seal the mulch edge tightly against beds or borders. Instead of sharply defined edges, allow mulch to gently taper off into surrounding soil or paths. This living edge allows organisms to migrate freely between zones, expanding the soil food web rather than trapping it. Hard edges, plastic barriers, and tightly packed mulch layers restrict airflow and movement. Living soil thrives on gradients, not boundaries. This small adjustment alone can dramatically increase the range of organisms in your garden. So why isn't this method widely taught? First, it's not marketable. There's no single product to sell, no branded bag of mulch that guarantees results. It relies on observation, patience, and understanding ecology rather than buying solutions. Second, it challenges the idea of tidy gardens. Layered, mixed mulch looks messy at first, but nature is messy, and that's exactly why it works. Finally, many gardening guides oversimplify mulch because it's easier to teach rules than systems. But soil is a living system, and systems thrive on complexity. If you're new to gardening, this mulch trick will likely surprise you with how quickly things change. Soil that once felt hard becomes crumbly. Water soaks in instead of running off. Plants develop deeper green leaves without extra fertilizer. You may also notice fewer pests. That's because healthy soil supports predators and beneficial organisms that naturally regulate populations. Most importantly, gardening starts to feel easier. You stop fighting the soil and start working with it. If you've been gardening for years, this method takes everything you already know and amplifies it. Compost works better. Cover crops break down faster. Perennials establish more deeply. You'll also see long-term improvements that single-season fixes can't provide. Soil organic matter increases steadily. Fungal networks expand. Your garden becomes more resilient to drought, heavy rain, and disease. This isn't a quick fix. It's a permanent upgrade. At Rootshaven Grounds, we believe great gardens are grown from the ground up. Soil life isn't an optional extra. It's the engine that drives everything else. This one mulch trick works because it respects how nature actually functions, not how we wish it would. If you try nothing else this season, try this. Observe your soil. Watch what changes. Let the underground world do what it's always done best. Build abundance quietly, steadily, and powerfully. If you found this article useful, please subscribe to the Rootshaven Grounds YouTube channel, share this with a fellow gardener, and help spread practical, honest gardening knowledge. Together we can grow healthier soil and better gardens for years to come.